my cold one. Where's my cold one at? There's my cold one. Okay. Got everything rocking and rolling. Oops, I forgot to lock the front door. Don't want any unexpected visitors, do we? Nope, we sure don't. Hey, Greg, how are you? I had to get up and lock my front door. I was about to forget. I opened everything up, turned off the alarms, but then I left the front door wide open. Can't have that. All right, I hope the signal and everything's coming through loud and clear. I'm trying to get all my lights and everything adjusted here so I look decent. Hey, Joy, how are you? Everything's going good everywhere. At least I hope so. We're working our butts off down here. They got us working 7 days a week right now. Hey, Philip, how are you? No. I just started up. You hadn't missed anything. So it looks and sounds good. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm sitting here just taking it all in. Been up early dispatching some trucks this morning. We had a couple extra runs this morning. Hey, Kevin, how are you? Oh man, that sounds good. I'd like to have some bacon and eggs and grits and everything. Yeah, I've got the trucks I got a little bit aggravated Friday. We got all the bank just couldn't. My wife and I both sign on it, and so they said give us two numbers to call so we can do phone verification on stuff on SMS or what. Oh, they didn't tell us SMS, phone verification. I said okay, so I gave them the office number and I gave them my cell number. Well, then they sent out SMS text, and I go, well, my office, you can't receive SMS text on it, So I said you have to get another. And then they spent 2 hours trying to figure out how to give me a good SMS text and everything through a second number. So, and then after they did all that, we got finished about 3 o'clock with all the paperwork. Then they said, oh well, it's too late to fund it today. I had all my guys lined up to go down to pick up the trucks. Oh, I was PO'd because, I mean, at that point, they cost me all the money I had tied up on, bringing people in to help go get the trucks, bring them back to the shop, that sort of stuff. But, these people working at home in their offices, they don't care. It's their time schedule, not yours. Anyway, that kind of screwed things up for me, but I'm going to be picking those up Monday. Just one of those things, another day in paradise, you might say, because, you have to adhere to what these bankers and all these people say. You don't get to call the shots all the time. You have to dance to their song, I guess you might say. So, that's where I am on those trucks. But yeah, we should be picking those up Monday, bringing them back to the shop, going over them. I mean, they're again good used trucks. Is what it is. They're not brand new. I don't want to make somebody think that I'm buying all brand new trucks. I wish I could afford that, but I can't afford that at this time, and especially I don't want to, put that much money out at this time. I mean, you'd be looking at, oh gosh, 5 or 6 trucks, you'd be looking at close to $700,000 if you had that many in trucks. And I just can't justify that. I mean, it's hard enough justifying what I am justifying, which is about $250,000. And, so that's, it's a tough road to hoe. I mean, you got to get out there and make those big payments. And a lot of people don't understand that. Oh yeah. I've bought several brand new trucks over the years. but I just try to, with this expansion and everything, and I'll buy some more new trucks too. The reason I haven't bought as many brand new ones lately is because of all this deaf stuff. I got hung on a couple of Mack trucks that I bought back in 2010, 2009 or 8 or 9. And those trucks like to broke me. They were the worst trucks I could have ever gotten. They had issues with that deaf stuff, and these mechanics and these shops didn't know how to do it, and they were forever misleading me on the repair and everything else. So I've kind of gotten away from that. And then I bought a couple of years ago. I bought some brand new gliders. I mean, they were brand new trucks, but then they had the older engine in them, and I got those from Freightliner up in Hickory. Hey, Ponca, how are you? But and I love them, and I still have those. Those are some 2016s, that 2016 Cascadias, and I bought those, and they were brand new trucks, less the the new style engine, and they've been, at knock on wood, they've been excellent. I wish I could get a bunch more. I wish I could find some that we could put. Hey Don, how are you? I wish I could find some that I could do that with, but we've got to have that forward collision technology, and we can only get that with the ones with the new engine because of the ECM. Oh, that, yeah. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I was doing a live, and I was running my mouth trying to. I was up at the shop. For those that caught that little bit of a live feed, I didn't put it back up. I edited it a little bit because I was rambling too much. I was on my cell phone, and not good camera angles and everything else, so it didn't look that good. Hey, Budget Tools. Yeah. Well, yeah, the glider kits would work fine for me even to this day if I could get the forward collision. If I could get the forward collision technology, FedEx would accept that, because they don't care. It doesn't have to have the regen and all that sort of stuff. They don't care about that. What they're worried about is the safety aspect of it, and to make sure that it has all the new technology as far as that. And unfortunately, there's no glider kits out there that you could get that with. I mean, if there were, I would get them in a heartbeat. I guess. Yeah, I'm the CEO and the chief bottle washer and the maid and whatever I have to be. You can get that technology from Bendix. Yeah, I mean that's what you can do. You can buy it from Bendix, but Bendix doesn't have one that will hook up to the old ECM. That's the problem. See, when you get a glider kit, you've got the old ECM that does not have some of the newer technology. So they got you in a catch-22. Now, I haven't checked lately, and they may be modifying that, and if they can come out with some, that will be fantastic, because I have these two gliders that are still really good trucks that I would love to be able to keep in the fleet and not have to replace. And if I can put that Bendix system on them, then that would be a fantastic situation for me. And I am going to research that a little bit further. And if I could get somebody like Bendix or a Freightliner dealership or somebody like that to do it, I'll definitely check into it. But as it stands right now, I can only get it through the trucks that have already got the technology on it and everything. I mean, we can do the aftermarket, and I've had a couple of friends that have tried that, and they're having limited success with that. And we've got to have a proven system for FedEx. In other words, they check it out and everything, make sure that it works fine and everything else. So So when you put an aftermarket system on, you just can't say, I've got an aftermarket. Will you approve me? Well, no, they won't. They will. It has to be verified from a a the I think that not safety man or one of them, somebody or their shop or something has to verify that that Bendix system or the aftermarket system that you're buying is adequate. So, as it stands right now, it's easier for me to just go ahead and upgrade some of these older Columbias and everything. I've got plenty of them too. I've upgraded almost my entire fleet. I'm down to, see, I've got two in Savannah that I haven't upgraded. No, three. I got three day cab Columbias I got to get rid of eventually. And then I've got, let's see, about another 3 or 4 up in Charlotte that I've got to, and then a couple up at Hickory. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a lot of parts down there too. I try to tell them just to leave them over here. Of course, I let them take. There's certain things that we use so much of. We go ahead and just stock it down there. Well, the fleet's mixed right now, and these trucks that I've been buying lately are tandems. I've been getting a better deal on the tandems. So the majority of the ones that we have bought in the past 2 years have been tandems. The older, well, I mean, we can run single axles, and single axles have been pretty good for me. I can't complain. And if I could find some single axles with the technology and everything, I would probably buy them. Well, I'm not selling the gliders right now. Those gliders I'm still hanging on to. I can hang on to those. I don't have to sell that till 2024. You check back with me in 2024 if I can't put them on, or we may repurpose them. We have another way of maybe repurposing them too. But they're really good gliders, that's for sure. They're, like I said, they're 2016s, and I bought them new. So it's they're real nice trucks. They're real nice trucks, but no, they're still in the system. Actually, one of them's running today. One of them, or sorry, say two of them. But one of them's running. One of them's running today. I've got a Lexington. I got one that goes to Lexington, Virginia, every day, and one goes to Richmond Hill, Georgia, every day. And so those have been really, really good trucks. I can't complain. And everything. And I can't understand Japanese, so I don't know what that gentleman's saying. yeah. If y'all could leave him on there if y'all can understand Japanese or whatever that was. I'm not familiar with that language. Are y'all? I'm getting a lot more people. I'm getting them from all over the world now. So I get Russians and Indians and people from India and the Philippines and all over. So once the channel starts growing, it'll pick up people everywhere. Could be. I don't know what that is. Maybe there he is again. Maybe he can translate. I don't know what that is. UA. What is it? I don't know what that is. I mean, if he wants to translate, I don't know if I have the translation thing put on my screen. Let me see if it. I can't tell. I don't want to. Russian, you think? Okay. Ukraine. He even said, okay. Well, I have some friends that drive for FedEx from the Ukraine. Oh, okay. Ukraine. All right. Well, welcome. I could be like Rocky and Bullwinkle then, couldn't I? We'll get the moose and squirrel out here. I actually have I bought a condo in uh, I bought a condo in uh, Hilton Head, and the girl there was an agent, and she had an accent and everything, but she was speaking good English, but she was from Russia, and not very often. Sleep is limited in my household. I can tell you that. Um, I I don't get very much sleep for a man of my age, that's for sure. I take some afternoon naps sometimes. Yeah, I could be tired. I've been working a lot of hours. Yeah, I could be. The bags may be getting a little bit much under the eyes here, but I try to get some good sleep every once in a while. I mean, no, the Nicola. I didn't ever get into that. I don't want to get into another alternative fuel plus that. I mean, it's just a yeah. I guess so. Are you talking million subscribers? Maybe I can get me a million subscribers one day. Yeah, I guess I could be looking heavy eyed. I'm sorry about that. Uh, could be this old hat I'm wearing too. I'm wearing a funky hat. As you can tell, guys, this hair thing, not being able to go to the barber shops for the birds. Uh, my old, I don't have much hair, but I'm gonna be like the president. I'm gonna be swirling it around here in a little bit, but I don't get some relief on a haircut. Uh, my wife's trimmed me a little bit on the sides and everything else, but well, we got the lockdown on the barbers and everything right as I had an appointment to get one, so I was already due a barber. Hey, well, hey, Chris, how are you? Yeah, I'm gonna look like Chris. Look here, if I don't hurry up and get a haircut, I'm gonna have hair everywhere too, aren't I, Chris? Uh, but hey, Trucker's Life, how are you? Yeah, yeah. Carlisle tools are they're foreign made. I mean, they're made in Korea. I think some of them. I could go out there and get one, I guess, uh, if y'all want me to. But they're foreign made like the rest of them. I like that. I mean, they're an economy, but they're a nice built tool. They're not a Harbor Freight tool. They're a well built tool, and I like them pretty good. And they got a lifetime warranty. Some of them used to be made here in the U.S. When they had when Craftsman and some of those had them, they were made in the U.S. at one time. And and if people will remember back, Napa actually had some Napa tools before they had Carlisle too. Uh, yeah, Taiwan. Okay, well, Taiwan. Okay, that's uh, I knew it was Korea or Taiwan or whatever. It wasn't China, which I prefer. Taiwan and Korea, I think, make a little bit better things. And the Evercraft it may be a Chinese now. Evercraft is I don't really like the Evercraft stuff that good. I mean, it's really but it's a Harbor Freight type tool. It's pretty budget. So I'm not. Yeah. Now that Napa used to make. Now those were made in the U.S. too. The ones that were said Napa on them, if I remember right, because they were made over here from East Coast Tools, which was not too far from here. They had a Gastonia plant, and they used to make the Napa tools there, and they also made the Sears Craftsman brand too there. And so some of these, and I would love to see that to come back. Uh, I would pay more for some of these tools if they would just bring some of that back. I don't like having everything overseas. I mean, we need. All right, y'all, you're going to have to translate, Vicky Vikovic. You will have to translate. Now, where are you from? Is that Russian? Is that Russian or is that Ukraine also? We don't have a translator on this, so you will have to type in English. Okay. You will have to type in English for anybody on this end to understand what you're saying. So if you got the translation thing on your keyboard on Google, we can understand, but we cannot understand a single thing that you're typing there. It looks like gibberish, unfortunately to us. So we got two from Russia. I guess they're understanding each other, but I don't understand the thing they're saying. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just let it stay in there. They can stay on. They can talk amongst themselves. Napa, for me, the Napa investment, is different. I looked. I went at it with a different aspect than just trying to, than trying. Well, we definitely understand that, and we don't allow that on here. So don't try to. We'll keep you hidden. We'll keep you blocked if you're going to talk like that. So, yeah, yeah. Of course, now Junkie doesn't drink diet Mountain Dew. Yeah, I do diet Mountain Dew. Junkie hits the hard stuff with all the calories. Yeah. 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 I don't mind the Russians talking Russian in there if they want to, but just don't try to take over the channel and talk junk on there. We'll just block it if it does. Yeah. Yeah, we'll try it. We try our best to keep it a clean channel, even if it's clean against Russians there or Ukraine and everything. I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's so much of a savings. I mean, what I'm up against, and of course, my wife has an argument with me on this too, and I don't think there's any savings at this point because of the fact that I'm building this business, and I'm building this business sort of on the back of my trucking business too, because this business that I bought, of course, I bought it at a distressed Napa store, as you may know. The boy was having a hard time with it. He had just let it go downhill. The other competition had moved into town. He was not the only parts store in town, and he just let it go to pot. And he didn't care about it. And in the process, basically, when I bought basically the name of the store, because there wasn't anything but dust on the shelves, and I had to build the inventory from scratch pretty much. So I have poured a ton of my own personal money into the store and taken profits from my trucking business to get this store up and going. And the inventory is pretty. We have about $1 million inventory right now. So to recoup all that and to get it back to where I could actually figure a profit, it will take me several years. I mean, if you look at it per se, month to month and everything else, it is doing increasingly better, but it's a long road. It wasn't anything I expected to do overnight. So you know, when you talk about the profitability and everything and stuff like that, I mean, we are making this store more profitable, and plus, I'm able to change the way that I purchase things because I'm through the trucking business. I purchase a lot. I was one of this store's biggest customers before I even bought the store. I mean, I was the boy that had it before me. I was using him a good bit. He had to order a lot of stuff. He wouldn't ever keep it in stock and that sort of stuff. But a lot of times I would just let him go ahead and order it, and not, if he could give it to me the next day and that sort of stuff. So uh, I would do the best I could. But now, as a store owner, I'm trying to kind of change it around. Yeah, yeah. MSJ2 is probably the biggest account in the store. I've got a couple other big ones. I've got a guy that has got a pretty good sized car garage. He's good, and another one up, Quick Lube, that does pretty good with us. And then I have another company that's that does buys a ton of batteries from me. That they do. Um, I'm trying to think. It's called Power Gen and everything. Yeah, yeah. MSJ2 is the big is a big, and it was before too. So it's I bought the store knowing that I was probably one of the largest customers, and so that I got a insight on some things. Yeah, I've got the city of Cherryville. I don't have the county is taken over by the corporate Napa. They've got a corporate store down in Gastonia, so they've got the inside on that. I might take another drink of my Mountain Dew here, guys. Got an old frog in the throat. Hey, JC. Yeah, yeah, they do pretty good. We the Freightliner dealership does have some. I've had some issues with they don't have the cold cranking amps that I think they were selling me some 700s and 800s, and we like to have at least 800 cold cranking amps for our trucks. So yeah, but they are, yeah, the Freightliner dealerships do have some good prices on that too. And I used to be a big buyer of those from Freightliner. Of course, I at this point, when if I cost it out to me, I can still get it within the same range, same prices and everything. So it just depends on how I want to move the money around. Yeah, now that's a great deal too. $75 for that, and we bought some. We have bought some like that. We have bought some like that. It's just batteries are a big expense, are a huge expense, and they probably are for JC too. JC's like me; he's got trucks everywhere, and uh, he has it probably worse than me in some respects, but because of the fact that it's colder weather up there, and JC had snow just a week or so ago up there. We hadn't had hardly any down here, thank goodness. Yeah, if he was a Napa salesman, you probably had a lot of fun with that. Ooh, oh, excuse me, guys. I got a little hay fever down here. I'm not the COVID-19. It's hay fever, I think. Yeah, yeah. I've actually used some of those too, and we stay on top of that. And of course, I've get I don't know. I was but batteries are a big purchase for me. I buy Gosh, I hate to think how many batteries I go through each year. Probably low hundreds, and just and in my own trucks. Because I mean, you're looking at four per truck. Because we don't have to buy them every year, but if you look at four per truck, and then the amount of trucks, four, five, yeah, that'd be 200 if I replaced them all at one time. But we don't replace them all, but we go through a good many. We'll, uh, the life of batteries is strange sometimes. You'll if we get them in there 2 or 3 years, that's usually the life of them. Yeah, and that's probably true, Jay. So you're going through them and get selling the unit, and I'm not. I'm I'm actually I'm just I'm getting them and been able to keep the unit. Uh, the biggest problem is we've got so many in the boneyard right now. We need to go through there, but it's tough. And then once if you have a truck and it's been setting, excuse me, and it's been setting for a while, it's going to not not have the I mean a battery. They'll if you don't use a battery, it'll go downhill. If it needs a little bit of charging, the batteries usually need a little bit of charging. Uh, I'd say at least monthly. And we have a ton of trucks, that are in our boneyard that we just basically start taking the batteries out because of the fact that we know the batteries are going to go dead if we don't, and they'll be unusable. Yeah, East Penn is the big distributor too for us too. I mean, that's East Penn is one of the biggest battery manufacturers around, and they make for Napa. They make for uh, all your different brands. There's people don't realize that there's only a few manufacturers of batteries, just like everything else, and it's tough because East Penn, I think they had to shut some of the or didn't what they weren't allowed to count as an essential business or something. Something I read somewhere they didn't let East Penn. They laid off some, had to furlough something. Uh, I know I got a notice, and I go, "Oh crap! Don't do that to the battery manufacturers. We'll be in bad shape." But it was something associated with East Penn, and that's probably about true, Chris. I don't know how many big. Uh, there's a Deca, or is that East Penn? That's East Penn, isn't it? Deca, and there's something, and there used to be one down here in North Carolina too. Uh, that's affiliated with Interstate Batteries, makes Interstate Batteries, and some of the others. I don't know. I'd have to research that myself because I don't. I know East Penn, like I said, is one of the manufacturers that we use. Exide, that's what I'm thinking of. Exide, you're exactly right, Chris. And I think they're in North Carolina. They used to be. They used to be down there in Greenville, North Carolina, uh, because I used to have to go down there a good bit, and you'd see the Exide plant over there. Yeah, Deca is but it's spelled Dekka, Dekka, Deca that way. Uh, uh, but yeah, that's East Penn. Yeah, yeah, they manufacture a good battery, and like I said, they make them for a lot of different companies too. And the Napa brand is one of that, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, because that's who we give our we give our cores back to. I mean, they buy a lot of cores back. Yeah, I know it. Some of that stuff is merged, and I don't know how many of these major manufacturers there are anymore. I mean, there's a lot of m- corporate merging when you get involved with that stuff, and it just it, it's hard to keep up with sometimes. The main thing is I'm like probably 99% of the people now. Let's bring manufacturing back to the U.S. I want to keep everything that we possibly can back here in the good old USFA. I want it. I want it home. I want manufacturing to come back. People fussed about our president and everything with his MAGA stuff, and now I think MAGA has more credence to it than any time before. I mean, we need to make America great. We need to bring home our pharmaceuticals. We need to we need to do things that are going to help the country. And people that are against that, I just don't understand it. Yep, I want to cut. There's a lot of revamping that needs to be done. I mean, it's hard for us to cut huge payrolls, but if these companies are helped to, I mean, there ought to be some way of scrutinizing this and say, hey, if you're gonna be wasteful here, we're not going to give you a contract here, and that sort of stuff. Exactly. And think about, especially where JC's from, what they call the Rust Belt. There was so much manufacturing in that area, so many steel mills, so many, all kinds of different metallurgy and everything else that was manufactured right there in the Ohio and the Pennsylvania area. And not much of that anymore at all. We can't all work out of our homes anymore. I mean, that's the problem. I mean, the United States I think has realized that, and if they haven't, they're stupid, that we've got to have this back. We need the pharmaceuticals on shore. We need the things that are necessary for everyday life need to be manufactured right here. We don't need to let any company get too much. Oh God, yeah. I think everybody saw that. Yeah, she showed off her $35,000 refrigerator, and then they said that ice cream was $12 a pint. Is what somebody was saying that she was showing off. $12 a pint. I mean, heck, I can go down to Tony's, who's one of the best ice cream manufacturers in the United States down here in Gastonia. I can go get a gallon for $6, I think it is, and it's fantastic. I tell you, we all, especially people that are out here in the world doing like myself and everything else, and most of y'all guys, you realize that we don't need to be dependent on foreign entities. I mean, of course, it has eaten through our society. I mean, we got too much. I mean, in my store, I would say probably 70% of the product, if not more, is foreign made. Now, there's a lot that's made here in the U.S. Lyle and Eklund and I'm trying to think of the others. But other than that, of course, now our Napa Gold stuff is made Wicks down in Gastonia, so that's a good thing too. And those are the things that we need to do. We need to keep the manufacturing here especially of essential products. We cannot be dependent on any foreign entity to give us our products back. I mean, it was crazy. Oh, you know it, Ponca. You know it. I mean, that lady, I mean, how these people are fawning over her. It blows my mind. She has done nothing. She has done nothing except to hurt the common man. And the people that want to think that they're going to get something for nothing for very long. I mean, that's like that stupid AOC got up there and said, "Oh no, I think you should refuse to go back to work." Well, I'm thinking, well, lady, you get paid regardless if you work or not because you're working for the Congress. I mean, you can sit back there in your place and not worry about it one bit. But the average person needs to get out and put food on the table, pay the rent, pay the light bill. Those things require a job to do that. If you think that the government is going to continue to print money so they can give it to you so you can sit on your keister, you got another thing coming. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of that type mentality, and it's sickening is what it is. I mean, I want to see the common man, and I hope the common man will rise up this next election and straighten it out, with not only with the at the top, but I think it needs to be down at the bottom too. We need our congressmen. You need to look at your local congressman, whoever they are, and if they're not voting in the right manner, get rid of them. Vote for the other person. See if you can get a strong person in. It's going to be more of that. We need to take the Congress back over and get common sense people in there, and we don't. We let the Pelosi's rule the roost this last time, and what did they do? Impeachment, Russian collusion. You think back for the past 3.5 years, they have done nothing but waste more of the taxpayers' money. I mean, I hate to get political, guys, but boy, it just makes me sick. I mean, and we've seen all this to come down because of this disease. And even now, people are questioning that because I was looking at at a statistic. It's a bad disease, and I'm not going to deny that. But it's mainly getting people in rest homes. They said rest homes and prisons are the two biggest contributors to death in North Carolina. I mean, they've already sent out the statistics on that. I think we've had about 100 deaths in North Carolina or something like that. Not that many. But I think it was 60 or 70% were either prisoners or rest home. So what does that say? That means we've got 10 million people in the state of North Carolina that are paralyzed because of the fact that 90% of the people in rest homes and prisons are getting sick and dying. Well, I'm sorry, that's bad. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want anybody in the rest home in my family. And my mother was passed away in one just a couple of years ago. And it is a petri dish for diseases. And I will say that because they got all these people clustered together in tight quarters. And it's not a safe place to have elderly people in some respects once a virus or something like this starts taking hold. It's tough. But that being said, the common flu and everything else and pneumonia and all that get them too in rest homes. So, it's a crazy situation we have out there. So, we've got to get back to work. I know that we got lives that are at stake in some areas, but we're still going to have to get back to work. And people, then you got these governors and mayors, and well, how many jobs do we get back? How many lives can you risk for that? I don't care. At this point, we're just going to have to take the odds. We're going to have to say, well, how many are we going to lose? How many are we going to lose statistically if they starve to death? How many are we going to lose for years to come if they don't have a job? How bad are you wanting the economy to fall down to just to save a few people? I mean, I'm sorry, give them the best health care you possibly can. And if it happens, it happens. We got to get back to work. We've got to get back to work out here. And I think, I'm curious to see what South Carolina and Georgia, what their results are going to be over the next few weeks. And I hope it's good. I hope they look at that and go, well, their model is not too bad. They're not increasing a whole bunch. I hope the outbreak doesn't start increasing down there, but we'll see. we will see. We've got to. Exactly. And you're going to have it's going to flip. It's not going to be the reported cases of COVID. And I know a lot of y'all have heard too that some of these have been misreported. A lot of people are dying of normal causes and everything, and are undetermined causes, and the hospitals and the doctors are being told listed as COVID. And that's not right. If it's not defined as COVID and they can't prove it's COVID, don't list it as COVID just because it's out there. Yeah, but and that's true, James. We are at a tipping point right now. We have got to get back to work, and we have politicians that feel like they are gods and rulers that say, no, we can't do that. No, we can't do this. And I mean, look at the state of Michigan. That governor up there, she's fining people for going across the state. People, you can't leave your house and go to your cabin if you got a cabin up in the mountains or something. She's arresting people and fining people for just moving around in the state like that, which is crazy. Yeah, and that's the problem. The government's handing out money, and it's a small panacea for or short term panacea for people that say, "Oh well, I got $1,200." Well, that $1,200 is going to go like that. It's not going to be lasting like a job. And if you feel like that you're going to set back, I mean, what they're doing, they're sort of like feeding the bears. The old story, they tell you they got the signs up that says, don't feed the bears. It's not because of the danger to you and the bears. What it is, it's the danger of the bears getting dependent on being fed by tourists. And once they do that, then they end up starving because they like the free food that they're getting because they don't have to forage for food. And that is the purpose of don't feed the bears. And a lot of people think, oh, well, that's for your safety. No, it has nothing to do with your safety. It has something to do with the sustainability of the bears, because it's been a known fact that if you go out and feed bears in parks and everything, that those bears, they get lazy. They go, well, I just sit around here. There are going to be some cars coming by pretty soon. They will feed us. And once you even wild bears, once they get that mentality that they can get it free, they're thinking, why work for it if I can get it free? So it's an animal instinct that's what people will think. And so if you feel like that you get free money, and most people would do that if they thought, well, we can get free money, we'll just sit back and do nothing. And they're doing that with the unemployment. Some people are making way more unemployed right now than they are employed. And I heard Lindsey Graham talking about that the other night, and it's terrible. Yeah. Once I think, as the old saying goes, how are we liking socialism so far? Because we're getting a taste of it. These people that have wanted the Green New Deal, well, they're getting their wishes because we're not the cars and the amount of fossil fuel that is depleted or gone down is, I guess, not depleted, but the amount that is not being purchased anymore is tremendous. And we're getting a taste of the Green New Deal, whether we like it or not. And I don't like it. I don't like the fact that, the oil companies are losing their tail right now because of the fact that, it's not so much the oil companies as it is the workers, the common man that's been out there in the field, that's been driving the tankers and been doing the fracking and doing the different things, that's the ones that's hurting. Yeah, that's exactly right, Rigo. The mindset of people, having a socialist state, and that's what it will be. It's terrible. Now, it may be heyday for a little bit. It may be like free money. I didn't have to work for it, but that dries up, and it dries up quickly because we can't continue to print money. And basically, that's what the government has done. The value of the dollar has got to have gone down. Of course, it's going down all over the world right now, so it's probably equilibrium in some respects, but you can't continue to just print money and devalue your currency. And, you know, so if you start printing more than there's value for it, I mean, it's just like everything else. I mean, what was worth $100 last week would be worth maybe $80 this week. So you're getting less value for it. So if you wanted to make that same amount of money, you're going to have to increase your price. And then what does that cost? That causes inflation. We're in a deflation point at this point because of everything going down, down, down. But what's going to happen is we're going to have an inflation because the devaluation of the dollar. I mean, I don't want to give everybody economics 101, but I've been through enough of these things and I've seen enough of these things that I know what I'm talking about on that, I feel like. But, everybody's going to have to be real careful with their money going forward. There'll be some opportunities for people that there'll be opportunities for people that have saved their money to maybe make them more money one day. If they play their cards right, we'll be able to continue to invest in working and do better for themselves. And that's what we've got to look at. We've got to be able to continue being positive in that respect. Yeah, I know it. And I just bought 5 trucks and I got a good interest rate. I got a real good interest rate, way better than you usually do with used trucks. And I told him, I said, I'm not going to pay high interest rates. And I was able to get it down pretty low for used trucks. But, we've got to, yeah, and that's the thing about it. I mean, your mom and pops, and let me tell you something. I'll tell you something that's really irked me lately. Hey, Day Cab, how are you? Amazon, Jeff Bezos is probably just laughing up a storm right now because all of this has played right into his hands. He has fought, or he's been competing with the mom and pop stores for years. And now he's got the government shutting down his competition. Now think about it. Amazon is still delivering, but the government tells these mom and pop stores, I'm sorry, you can't open up. You can't open up your little retail over here, but we're going to let huge Amazon sell like everything. So what do you think has happened? People have not quit buying. They may have curtailed a few things that they're buying, but they have not completely quit buying. I mean, that's the nature of the business. So who gets the benefit of that? Amazon. Amazon is now their nation's leading retailer, probably because of the way they're doing business. I would guarantee that they're the nation's leading retailer over anybody because, and they're huge. And that's exactly where Bezos wanted it to be. He wanted to, and that's the reason he named it Amazon. He's Amazon like the Amazon River. He's Amazon, like the Amazon people were huge people. He wants to be the one and only. That's his goal. I've heard it in the past. I've heard it in some internal things that's what he wanted. but lightens up a little bit. Everybody needs to. Whoops! What happened to my connection? My connection got unstable. I hope it didn't. Is it still okay, guys? I got a little flash up there. Said it was unstable there for a second. I don't know what's going on with my. I got it wired in direct. Is the signal still okay, guys? I mean, I'm just let me know. Give me a thumbs up. Hit my old button down there or whatever. Still okay? Okay, well, great. Okay, I'm gold. Okay, good. Good. All right. Well, I just want to make sure it flashed up on my screen that I had an unstable. I'm good. Okay. Well, that's good. I didn't know. It looks the same as far as my screen to me, but I got the signal. Okay, good, good, good. Give me a thumbs up on the screen there too. Hit the old bell or whatever and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Everything's good, Ralph. Okay, good, Ralph. Yeah. But these I think everybody's going to have to kind of sit back and look at this thing differently once we come out of it, when we come out of it, if we come out of it. Like again, guys, I got to get the old haircut here. show off my old shaggy hair. But we're going to have to reanalyze what we're doing as far as buying and our purchasing power and everything else, and where we want to put our money. I mean, do we want to give an Amazon all of our money? I know the convenience is there. I use it too, guys. Don't get me. I mean, I know, at this point in time, it's some of the only places I can buy certain items. So, and that's the problem, is the fact that if we let Amazon control, that might help a little bit there. If we let Amazon control too much of our retail sales, then they will control the market. Now, it may be cheap now, and it's like everything else. When you're big like that, you can drive the competition out of business. And once you've driven them out of business, you can raise your prices. Yeah, and that's some of the things Amazon is doing that. Now, Amazon is there. Amazon and FedEx, and I know I've got some inside information, guys, on this because I was an Amazon contractor. They started a contractor model in this area, North and South Carolina, about 5 years ago. And I was one of the first, and I was courted by one of the guys that had left FedEx. He was a big VP with FedEx Ground. And then he was one of the top men in the transportation. And I was courted by him and some of the other people said, yeah, come on down. And we're going to do the same contractor model that FedEx does. We're going to model ourselves after that. And then they've changed all that. And I left them. I had 3 trucks on with them and I was trying it out. And I left them because it was too aggravating and the inside information I got from them and their mindset is terrible. I mean, they feel like you're going to do exactly what I want and you're going to do it right quick. And if you don't, we're not going to give you anything. They would cut you off in 2 seconds. It wouldn't take 2 seconds. I had a buddy of mine that I had to help him for a while because he was getting starved out because he had one of their analytics or whatever that his trucks weren't meeting that criteria. So, I mean, he was going along doing everything fine. And then he came to me and was sort of begging me, Mike, can you help me out? Can you help me out? And I was giving him some of my loads and we would run it underneath my authority so his guys wouldn't starve because he was getting starved out from Amazon because he didn't meet the metrics that they wanted. And it's not a great company, I can tell you that. I did not like their model and they didn't care that one bit. It's other words, you have to prove your point or you're out. And I had my ways with them, and I didn't like them, so I pulled mine out. I said, I'm just. It was way more headache than the amount. I mean, I've got less headache with FedEx, and I've got 50 times more trucks than I had down in Amazon. Amazon was working me 10 times harder for way less money, for way less, way more aggravation. And I just didn't like it. And I didn't, and plus they've changed the model again. My buddy's still with them. He's still with them and he's still struggling with them. He's not getting rich off of them by no means, but he still hangs in there. Yeah, I tell you what, Amazon Copart's pretty much a monopoly on that kind of business too. But Amazon is a monopoly. It's a larger monopoly than Standard Oil or any of these others ever was, in my opinion. So I don't understand why the Justice Department doesn't step in and investigate Amazon. I mean, I know they're probably not going to do it right now because they need everybody to be, fed and supplied and everything else. But once this is over, once that the U.S. gets back on its feet, we better start thinking about how we can control these monopolies like that. I mean, monopolies and people going overseas for everything, it's terrible. And I am a recipient of getting some of the goods done, moved. I mean, because I'm in the transportation business, I see what's happening. Uh, our terminal in Savannah, Georgia, is just blowing up in growth. I mean, we got 3 terminals down there. I'm involved with all 3 terminals, and it's just humongous how much growth we have down there. I mean, I bought out another contractor down there, and I'm expanding 6 more trucks down there. So I'm gonna have a total of 10 trucks. I think it is 10 or 12 trucks in Savannah, and then I've got the others. I've got about 20 something in North Carolina, 20 or 25. I can't remember how many it is. And it's hey, Shoestring. There's another FedEx guy coming in here. Oh me, are you still running hard and heavy with they're running us 7 days a week, Shoestring. I've got guys. They called me yesterday to line up extra drivers for today. So I've got a couple extra drivers running today. I've been up since about 5 this morning, dispatching trucks and getting things straightened out. That's why I look so prim and proper here. I've had a early morning rise to get everything going. That Sunday was working like a Monday almost, or a Tuesday. Really, we're Tuesday through Saturdays are hard days, but right now the dispatching is 7 days a week, whereas when I first started with them it was 5. To let y'all know, I mean, used to be we were only a 5 day a week show. Off to the shop, are you, JC? Well, you take care out there, and I'll catch you on the backside. I'll see you out there on some other chat rooms or yours or whatever, JC. You go get some work done because I know you got plenty to do and everything else. Yeah, I know. But you've been out there in Green. Now we were talking about Exide batteries a while ago. Is Exide battery still in Greenville since you were down there? I know I used to have to go to Greenville a good bit, and they had a big Exide plant down there. Is that still in business, Shoestring? Because JC and I were chatting about that with DECA and East Penn and all that. But there used to be a big Exide battery plant down there in the Greenville, North Carolina area. I don't know if it's still in operation or not. I figure you would know. I haven't been to Greenville North in years. Okay, so there's not one in Greenville. Okay, there used to be one right there in Greenville, North Carolina. It used to be over there, not too far from the stadium for East Carolina University, I believe. Yeah, if you haul fuel, I guarantee you are, because it's day cab, because it's tough. Oh, Rob Pitts. I don't know Rob Pitts. I had never listened to that. So there's no plant in Greenville anymore. Okay, well there used to be. There used to be an Exide plant, Exide battery plant in Greenville, North Carolina. But that's been years since I've been out there to see that. I mean, I bet I hadn't been to that part of Greenville in 20 years probably. So that's probably not. It's probably not there anymore. You don't think about these closures and everything until you try to follow up on these things. Yeah. Are y'all still running hard and heavy shoestring? I know they've given us fair warning out of Savannah that they're going to be doing a 7-day dispatch out of Savannah. So and then Charlotte's doing the same way too. We're working hard and heavy. So they put on a couple of more weekend shifts to manage the freight and everything because it's it's busy. Which uh, I'm strung out enough as it is day cab. Uh, I mean, we go through Jacksonville. We stop in Jacksonville. I actually meet. We my one of my Savannah runs at night actually meets a Savannah driver, but I hadn't got a desire. I mean, you get to be a point in time that you can string yourself out too far. I don't try to get too big in all the areas. Uh, it's just me. I mean, I'm a one man show, so well, I'm not one man. I got other people work for me, but you know, I'm the head guy, and I don't want to get too strung out. I mean, there's some people that want to do that. There's some contractors that have got all over the United States. I just don't want to do that. It kind of bothers. And of course, those type they're more into. They're dependent on the big shops and everything else. They have to buy brand new equipment. They're in debt up to yin yang, or either that or they pull together investment. And I just don't like that. I don't want to do that. I'm too much of a I'm the head honcho, I guess. Yeah, like Chris said. Uh, the old buck stops here, and that's just the way I want to run my business. Not to say that the others aren't doing well, and if I had uh, a lot of people working under me, well, I mean, I do have drivers and everything else, but managerial wise, if I wanted to gear up there, then I could probably do something like that. But then you'd have to have a lot of support group. I mean, I'm even looking about trying to put a shop down in the Savannah area now because I'm seeing where with 10 or 12 trucks down there, I'm going to need to start, instead of transporting everything back up here to work on, I'm going to have to utilize a shop down there too and see what I can come up with. So we will see. We shall see what we can do. But I don't know. I don't know. It's tough. It's tough out there. It's tough out there to do everything. No, I don't. I just got pasture land. I don't have any. I'm not letting anybody farm as far as gardening or anything. We used to have some out where my shop is, my house. Just beyond that, my father-in-law used to garden that, and the only gardening we do is my wife's flower gardens, and but we have about we're down to about 60 acres of land, I think now. We've sold off a good bit of the farm, and so we're down to, like I said, we're down to about 60 acres as far as the family farm. Uh, I've got another additional 20 acres that I own myself personally. No, don't have any. I don't have. We don't have corn, soybeans, or anything. Just pasture. Just pasture right now is all we've got, and that works good for me. I like a good pastoral scene and everything. As long as we can keep everything mowed and keep us happy and everything, I'm happy with that. So, you know, it that kind of work the is good, and my dad used to do that, but it's hard. Stars and Stripe. I sure do. I do have a record. Now, where are you located at Stars and Stripe? Yeah, I have a record uh, that I can tow fifth wheel to fifth wheel. Now, I don't have an undertow record, and I'm probably going to build one of those in the next year or so. Connecticut, okay, Connecticut's a pretty state. I like Connecticut. It's a small state, but it's a pretty area up there. Which part of Connecticut are you in? I know I like Rhode Island and Connecticut and all up on the East Coast like that. I know there's some high dollar stuff up there in Connecticut. That the land value up there is very expensive. That it used to be. I mean, I haven't checked real estate up there in years, but uh, that's a pretty area. Hartford, okay, yeah. I used to have a friend that was a contractor out of Hartford, Connecticut, and that's kind of why I was asking that. But he was a friend that I used to chat with, and I used to call. He and I would call each other and kind of go over things with FedEx and what we're doing and what we weren't doing. He was about the same size as a contractor as I am down here in North Carolina. He had about 20 or 30 trucks, I think, up there, and I think he's gotten out. I think he retired. I'm not sure. I haven't heard from him in years, but that's a good area. That's a good area, except for the snow. Yeah. That's what I hear too. The unfortunate thing, you've got some of the northern states that have taxed a lot of people out of there, and that's what you get into. You get the taxation will just get to be, you know, too much. I mean, we even get that in the South some with like where I've got my condo. It's good. It's got good points and bad points, and for what I use it for, it's fine. But we got the what they call what do they call that fee? Anyway, they got a special fee for doing all the maintenance work and everything around the condo association, and then it's sort of like a the property management and everything else, but you've got that fee to pay, then your taxes to pay, and seems like this tax. Seems like my payment on the property is this amount, and then all the other taxations and extra fees that come up is almost the same as the payment. It's terrible. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people like somebody was saying something about the North and everything. And I said, well, I will say this. I and this is not to disparage the North, but I will say this. I rarely do I ever hear somebody say, I'm going to retire and move up north. More more people say they're going to retire and move to Florida or Georgia or South Carolina or even North Carolina too and places. But that's I had somebody that was sort of knocking us old Southern boys, and that's what I told him. I said, I've rarely heard that anybody say they're going to retire. They're going to retire and move up north. I mean, I imagine there are people that want to do that and move up that way, but because of the taxation and a lot of other things like that, and Florida, of course, gets a lot of people because they don't have state income tax, and a lot of people move there for the tax relief as much as everything else. Yeah, and that's what you get. Like even like Tennessee has a higher sales tax than most states because I think their property tax is either zero or very low. So you get into that. You've got to balance these things out. if you're going to be a huge consumer and buy a lot of things, then you uh, don't want to be in a place where you're overtaxed for your purchases. But there again, if you're not a huge consumer and you're basically self-sufficient in some ways, then less taxation on the consumables. I mean, more taxation on the consumables, but less on your property is making a benefit for you. But there again, I'm not an accountant. I just pretend to be. Yeah. Oh, I know. I know. And that's what you get into, day cab. I mean, it can be tough. That's right. You go down the grocery. You get on the border down there. You locate yourself right there at Memphis, and then you go across the border down there to what's that town right down below Memphis? I can't think of it now, but there's a pretty good sized town right down below Memphis, or go over to Arkansas, and so yeah, that's you know, and believe it or not, I mean I'll give you a similarity to that. I know years ago, my uncle, he was pretty heavy smoker and everything. He would come visit us, and on Sundays and everything. That's, and I always used to wonder. I said, "Well, Uncle Gene's up here a good bit." Well, Uncle Gene was doing it to he was visiting us for his smoking habits. What he was, because he could come to North Carolina and buy the cigarettes way cheaper than he could in South Carolina because of the state tax difference. And North Carolina's tax on cigarettes was cheap, and the price of cigarettes was cheap because we manufactured cigarettes in North Carolina. So he would come across. He would, yeah, well, yeah, West Memphis and Arkansas, but there's another one. What is the name? There's a town in Mississippi that's right across south of Memphis too. I'm trying to think of. Yeah, I know it, and that's the thing about it. I mean, you think about the way our society is. I mean, we got a lot of society that are just consumers. They don't produce anything, and it cuts out a lot of self sufficiency there. Yeah. No, it's not Somerville. I'm gonna think of it in a second. Actually, there's a race car driver that's from there. Let me. That's where Ricky Stenhouse is from. I'm trying to. Gosh, we got a terminal there too. I'm trying to think what it is. It's just south of Memphis, right across the state line, not probably 15 miles. Oh, listen, you don't want to get into that Amazon Sprinter stuff. I mean that is the worst, and some of those are being bought back by Amazon. Amazon's selling some of those things because they tried to contract. Well, Columbia's in South Carolina. Well, there's a Columbia, Tennessee too. But, no, it's I can't think of it now. Olive Branch. There you got it. ATC man got it there for me. Yeah, Olive Branch, Mississippi. That's the one I was trying to think of. Yeah, we can have a terminal down there in Olive Branch. I used to have to, when we had a route that went from, we used to have what you call a triangle route, and we would have to come, we were coming out of Orlando, and we'd have to stop in Olive Branch, and then they'd run it from Olive Branch over to Memphis, which was a little bit aggravating. But yeah, Olive Branch, Mississippi. That's the town I was trying to think of. I went brain dead here trying to. It's tough for an old man my age to remember all these towns sometimes. Yeah, yeah, I was. Yeah, but Olive Branch is the one I was thinking of, and but the Ricky Stenhouse, the race car drivers from Olive Branch, the one that was dating Danica Patrick when they were an item for a short time. Of course, she went more movie star. She was I don't know if she's still with the quarterback or not anymore. She went with the Green Bay Packer quarterback for a while, but that may be on the skids too. You never know. I'm not into that. Yeah, I'm. I hope everybody's doing well out there. I meant to say that a while ago, and I hope everybody is getting over any illnesses that they've had. I know we've had a lot of situations with that, and I hope everybody will be able to get back to work. That's my goal. I hate to see all this bickering and uh, political strategy right now, and I think the problem that we have right now is the the American people are being there. We're being pawns in the hands of a few politicians that are trying to control our destiny, and they're really pushing it around, saying, "Oh, we can't do this, we can't do that, and we're not going to let our people do this and that," and try to justify it to help their political gain. Very, very bad situation. I think that we have people that are going to try to control our destiny and further their political ambitions. And I don't like it, whether it's right or left. I want the people to be I want the people to be taken care of. I don't want them to be jerked around. And right now we're being led to the slaughter like a lamb on some of these issues. And I want to see the people take control of their own destiny again. And that's the biggest problem we have is too many people are not controlling their own destiny. They're having to be told what to do, and that's not a good thing. If once somebody is telling you everything that you're going to do, then you're in a sad state of affairs. You want to be able to get out there and fight for what you want to do. You want to be able to get out there and manipulate things yourself. You want to have control. Gosh, what is that? A motorcycle rally? I heard about a roll of about sound like 20 or 30 motorcycles behind me. I guess they're out doing their social distancing on their motorcycles today. Yeah, and this is the thing about it. I mean, we can't continue to come up with new taxes. It's terrible. Hey, Christopher, how are you? And that's crazy. And see, this is what I'm talking about. You've got a business that you want to work, and you're not able to let it work. Yeah, 419 cases, huh? Okay. Uh, you know, people want to work, and I hope they will. I need to get Day Cab up here, and I need to make him a moderator too. Day Cab, I don't have you as a moderator. I'm gonna change that right now. Well, let me get back up here if I can. Let me change that. And okay, now Day Cab, you're a moderator now too. ATC man, I'm gonna make you a moderator also if I can. I like having. All right. So I got me a couple of new moderators in there. Got to keep my Ukrainian uh, cussers off. Well, hey, Michael, I need to I need to add you in here too. Let me add you as a moderator. So I can get. I like having the moderators in here that can help me keep the channel clean, and that can that are regulars and want to come back and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I enjoy that. I hope everybody respects what I'm trying to do, because I'm able to keep Well, we had a couple of guys from the Ukraine. They were typing Russian earlier. I don't know if you saw that or not. And they then they started cussing on there, and so so some of the guys knocked them out. I'm getting my channel's growing pretty good size right now, and I am getting a lot of foreign people too, and I'm getting people that don't have the best interest, and that's what you get. You never know when we're in the wild west out here. Once you try to keep moderators on your channel so they can help keep it clean, but as you grow, as your channels get bigger, you'll get a lot of people from other countries and other places that jump in on the chats and everything else, and they'll say what they want to say, and we just try to keep it clean. I try to keep my comments page. I've got it listed so people can't put cuss words and everything, so I don't have as many comments sometimes. I mean, they will actually come to me sometimes, and I can see them. I've got them set up so I can view it before it goes out onto the public, because I try to keep the page clean as I can. That's good, Mike. I appreciate it. Yeah, we need to do that. We need to definitely. We've all had our taste of communism. Spit it out now, and if it's nothing that we want. I have my runs are anybody that we had to have over the road experience, what we call. I mean, over the road doesn't have to be teamwork, and it doesn't have to be that you went all the way to the West Coast. You can be over the road for us. If you're like, I've got guys that run from Savannah, Georgia to Charlotte. As long as you have more than just say a small delivery truck that you run, that's considered over the road for us. If you've gone multiple states, and it doesn't mean that you have to go sleep in a truck somewhere and have that experience, or be in a team unit. You do 10 tons of trash a day. Huh. I tell you what, you probably, let me see if that's my wife, or is that Joey calling me again? I have no idea who that is. I think that's somebody thinking that we're open at Napa. Let me just double check. Hello.
How late are you guys open today?
We're not open today. I'm just here at the office.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right. Yep. Sorry about that. Yeah. I don't open on Sundays. That's the one day I do let the Napa store rest. And I need that. I need that I let it rest, except for the fact I get out here and do my podcast, or e-vlog, or whatever they want to call these things that we're doing on YouTube. That's all I do. But, well, guys, I am about wore out speaking. I hope that I probably have spoken more of my mind than I need to. I hope y'all have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed chatting with everybody today, but I am, as you can tell, my little voice gives out after about an hour or so. So I'm going to get out of here a little bit. So I'm going to let it roll. I've enjoyed it about an hour and a half here. So that's about all I can take. All right. See you guys. Y'all take care. And I hope everybody stays healthy. See ya.